Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope all of you are doing super well. And in this video, I wanted to give you some information of customer letters. So I don't know if you heard of what a customer letter is, but if no, then this video is for you. I got some information for you. So let's get into it. So as product teams, it's very important that we assess opportunities, we identify and we validate opportunities. So when we do this, it depends on what kind of opportunity are we trying to validate or we are trying to assess. So if we are working on a feature or we are trying to optimize things, there's a different level of kind of opportunity assessment that we need to do. But what if we are working on a project or a program or on a particular initiative that has multiple goals and opportunities that we need to work on? So how do we kind of assess whether what we are going to work on is actually going to provide value, and is it going to be beneficial for our customers as well as for the business? So if you see these really super big companies, famous companies, always creating innovations, and there's a lot of disruptive technologies coming into picture, and there's so much of things that they bring into the table. So for example, Amazon. So how are they staying so competitive, and how are they actually really smoothly and seamlessly kind of executing and delivering their products? So Marty Kagan kind of describes this very well. So they have this process which is called as the backward process, working backward process. Okay, so before they even build some solution, there's this thing called as a press release, and we are all kind of familiar with what a press release is. So what product managers actually do there is that they create this press release, and once the press release is created, things like what's included in this press release. So it's all about what the solution is about and what the solution kind of aims to solve for the customers, and how is it really beneficial, and all these really nice beautiful things that they wish to add into the press release is added. And sometimes teams can be really tempted to add, I have this xyz and these full blown features. They are so tempted, to add all these features into the press release. But end of the day, who gets to read this press release? Can you guess? Well, it's actually the product teams. Okay, so the product manager writes this down, and it's actually the product teams who get to read these releases. So the main objective of this is that the teams need to kind of read this through, and if it's not exciting them, if it's really not interesting them, then maybe it's not worth doing it. If teams themselves feel like, I don't think this is kind of really something that users might want, or I really don't know whether this is really going to help them out, so things like that. So if they are really not impressed, then definitely product managers have a lot more of discovery to do, and to identify the right opportunity that gives value. So the main focus should be like teams being able to deliver outcomes rather than outputs. So the outcomes should be really valuable for customers, and not it just shouldn't be an output. So Walker Lockhart, who was a former Amazonian, and said that instead of using press releases, what he believes is much more better is a customer letter. And what is this customer letter? This customer letter is an imaginary letter, but let me make this really clear to you. Even the press release is something that's imaginary. So you imagine that your product or the solution is released, but really it doesn't happen. So that's what says that you're kind of working backwards. So once you understand the value that you're going to create, then you start working towards it. So let's come back to this customer letter. So Walker Lockhart says that the customer letter is little more helpful because we imagine that this letter is written right directly from a end customer. So let's say that this customer who writes this letter, okay, the team's going to write this letter on behalf of, imagining that the customer is writing this letter. So they write it like, I'm so and so person, and I have been using this solution, and this has really eased out my life, this has really benefited me a lot. I had been doing this manually, and this has really caused a lot of manual errors, and it's taken so much of time in my work, but after using this solution, it's kind of really made my life easier, and things like that. So what is actually so nice about this is that customer letters, when teams get to read this customer letter, they tend to empathize directly with the customer. And this empathy really creates that urge in them that they really need to kind of, solve this problem for the customer. So it's a way in which teams can, validate that opportunity, as well as they can empathize with the customer, and they would be able to, kind of come up with that idea whether it's really worth solving, and it's really worth, putting in that effort and time, and whether what is going to be the impact that's going to be created. So that's something about customer letters. So I don't know how many of you have used customer letters, or whether you have a different way of validating opportunities. So this is I'm not saying this is the exact one thing that teams do, but this is one way in which teams kind of work backwards, and that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. So if you like this video, please do give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to this channel, and also do share your feedbacks. Thank you.